And now, from approximately coast to coast, Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding present the Bob and Ray Public Radio Program.
Thank you. I want to introduce an old and dear friend of ours who called our office this afternoon and said he had an important announcement to make, and could he have a few seconds on this show today. Webley Webster, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you, Bob. I wanted to come by and make the announcement that I'm going to have an evening with Webley Webster.
We got a lot of people ask us about that.
Hit the microphone. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We've had a lot of people ask if you were going to repeat that great success you had.
No, it's not going to be a repeat. It's going to be a brand new program.
Oh, it is.
We'll have poetic recitations, and I'll play the organ much like Mr. Free.
Really?
Only it's a pipe organ.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use one of those things.
What's the matter with that?
Well, they sound tinny. I like a big pipe organ.
All right. And where are you going to open? Where's the opening performance?
William, New Hampshire will be my first concert. They have a lovely theater there.
You played there before?
Yeah. I have a built-in acceptance in Fitzwilliam.
Good place to
back
start.
There.
Good place to start, and we want to wish you a lot of luck.
Well, thank you, Ray. You always know it's a pleasure for me to come by and talk to you fellas.
I'm Bob.
Oh, right.
Let us know how it turns out. We also want to tell you that our sponsors are again with us tonight. The Einbinder folks, the greatest name in fly paper.
And by Monongahela, the metal foundry that casts ingots with the housewife in mind.
And now Mushies, the great news cereal that gets soggy even without milk or cream, brings you another exciting story of adventure starring Tippy the Wonder Dog. As we look in on the isolated cabin of Grandpa Witherspoon today, we find that a herd of cattle has broken out of a nearby corral and is stampeding through the valley. Gramps has crawled underneath his cot in a desperate effort to escape the approaching stampede, as little Jasper stands in the front window, gazing out at the quiet lull before the storm. Suddenly, the boy turns and speaks.
No cows out there now, Gramps. Do you think maybe it's just the quiet lull before the storm?
Yeah, consarn it all, you bet your boots. It's just the quiet lull before the storm. That's why I sent that fool dog of yours out for some barbed wire to string around our property before the stampede gets here. Those critters aren't cows like you seem to think, boy. They're full-grown steers.
Okay, sorry for the incorrect terminology, Gramps. But aside from that, you don't need to worry about a thing. Tippy will be here with your barbed wire momentarily. Why, he's the dependablest, the smartest dog in the whole wide world.
Well, consarn it all, where is he then? I sent him to the store early Saturday morning.
Well, there are a lot of different kinds of barbed wire to choose from. It always takes Tippy a while to select his purchase when it involves comparison shopping. I'm sure he'll be along soon. Tippy's the finest, the smart... Oh, hey!
Huh?
I think I see him out there now, Grams. Headed home lickety-split to save us from getting trampled. Here, Tippy, Tippy, Tippy.
Consarn it all. Give me that barbed wire quick. I can hear those cattle stampeding right outside the door.
Oh, I think it was just your vivid imagination, Gramps. I didn't hear anything. Besides, that wasn't Tippy out there after all. It was just that Airedale of the Pagets. He was headed home with a case of electric cattle prods. Batteries included.
Consarn it all. Every other dog in the neighborhood is helping his master get ready for the stampede, but that fool Tippy probably just got a safe distance away and crawled up to take a nap.
Ah, Gramps, you always turn your venom on Tippy when you get scared of being crushed by cattle. But he won't let you down. He's the dandiest, the smartest. Oh, wait.
Huh?
I see him out there now. Here, Tippy, Tippy. Come on, boy.
Consarn it all, where's my barbed wire? Those critters sounded like they were ready to come right through the door.
I didn't hear a thing. In addition to which, I might add, that wasn't Tippy out there. It was just that puppy that hangs around the Robinson place. He was headed up that way with a carton of Halloween noisemakers. I guess they used to scare cattle away, you know.
Consarn it all, that pup's no bigger than a minute, but he can still be sent out on errands. I'd never trusted that fool Tippy.
Oh, gee, Gramps, I don't know why you always lash out at Tippy as a means of releasing your pent-up anxiety. He's the peachiest, the smartest... Oh, hey, wait. I see him out there for sure now, loping up the path to save us again. Come on in, Tippy. That's my good old boy. That's a boy. I think I'm beginning to hear cows. I hear cows out there now, too, Gramps.
Well, concern at all. I keep telling you they're not cows, they're steers, but never mind that. Give me the barbed wire. Maybe I can still string it around the porch to keep us safe.
Sorry, Gramps. It looks as if the only item Tippy picked up at the store were this baseball bat and an outdoor barbecue.
Concern it all. I'm going to make that fool dog wish he'd never been born.
No, wait, Gramps. Don't you see the clever thing Tippy has done on our behalf? He's figuring how we can profit from the cattle stampede by hitting one of those cows over the head with a baseball bat and then cooking the steaks on this outdoor barbecue. Hey? Boy, oh boy, didn't I tell you, Gramps, that Tippy's the brilliantest, the smartest dog in the whole wide world?
Today's thrilling story has been brought to you by Mushies, the great new cereal that gets soggy even without milk or cream. And join us soon for more spectacular adventure starring Tippy the Wonder Dog.
Well, again today, our scouts have been searching the railroad and bus stations around New York for victims of misfortune. And it appears that we've come up with an unusually fine assortment of born losers. So, Bob, why don't you begin the entertainment with that pathetic figure there beside you?
All right. Good idea, Ray. This is Mr. Hobie Decker of Lebanon, Missouri, and according to your card, Mr. Decker, you spent your life savings on a trip to New York in the hope of furthering your professional career.
Well, that's right, Bob Ray. See, I've been selling porch swings back in Lebanon, Missouri for almost 30 years.
Uh-huh.
But there isn't much market for them around there anymore. Most people in Lebanon have air conditioning now. And they don't need porch swings for sitting outside on hot summer nights. So I thought it was time to move my business to New York.
Well, that might be a logical decision, except that very few people in New York have front porches, but I suppose you didn't know that when you came here.
I knew it. I'd been in New York for the World's Fair back in 1939.
Uh-huh.
And then again, I was here for the basketball scandal in 1950. But I wasn't counting on selling my porch swings here for use on porches. I thought people could hang them from the ceilings of their apartments. You know, I'd read that utility rates are very high in New York, so not so many people have air conditioning as in the Midwest, and that should be good for the porch swing business.
Well, I suppose it should be, but I gather that there hasn't been much demand for porch swings in New York as you expected.
Well,
huh?
That's right. You see, what I hadn't taken into account was the fact that a porch swing needs a lot of open space around it.
Sure.
So you can swing, you know, with banging into something. And you just don't find many apartments here where you can hang a porch swing in the middle of the living room and not worry about knocking over furniture or bric-a-brac when you swing on it.
Yeah, well, there might even be a tendency to swing into a wall if the room is small.
Well, that's correct. And banging into an apartment wall with a big, heavy-duty porch swing can really chip the plaster pretty bad. So even my free demonstrations cost me money because of all the repairs I have to pay for.
Well, your story is indeed one of heartbreak, sir, but to help you back on your feet, here's a lovely gift from our generous Bob and Ray organization, a fine loose-leaf stamp album with pages in there that'll accommodate a full set of Brazilian airmail stamps.
Well, I don't have any Brazilian airmail stamps or any other kind.
Well, don't try to thank me, sir. It's the least we could do. Now, our next hard luck story is from Mrs. Effie Walsh of Tampa, Florida, who's become stranded in New York while on a mission of mercy for her little boy.
Well, yes. Well, I made it clear from Tampa to the North Pole, then back this far, but now my money's given out, and Merton Jr. and I are stuck here.
Well, tell us about the mission of mercy that involved taking your son to the North Pole. Did he have to see Santa Claus during the off-season about a personal matter?
No, nothing so frivolous as that. Merton Jr. was home from school with the sniffles. During the whole week, his third-grade class was studying about the Eskimos.
Uh-huh.
And he was afraid he'd flunked the final exam unless he could make up what he'd missed by going to northern Alaska and observing Eskimo culture firsthand.
Well, I don't think they have final exams in third grade, but your desire to have the boy get an education is commendable anyway. Were you able to visit some Eskimo villages, Ms. Walsh?
Yes, but nobody was home. We heard the natives were all out working, repairing the Alaska pipeline and making money enough to live in condominiums. So I'm afraid Merton Jr.'s teacher will never believe that There are no igloos left.
No, she'll probably flunk him because she thinks he's lying about that.
Yes.
But to ease your heartbreak, our generous Bob and Ray organization wants you to have this fine electronic calculator that figures square roots and logarithms.
Well, anybody who flunks Eskimos certainly doesn't know beans about square roots and logarithms.
That's true. Use it in good health, Ms. Walsh. And finally, here's Mr. Wendell Carpus of San Jose, California. Hello, Mr. Carpus.
Well, I spent all my money buying an old surplus Hoboken ferry boat.
Uh-huh.
And now I can't afford to sail it back to California by way of the Panama Canal.
That is indeed unfortunate, but what do you expect us to do about it?
Well, I don't know anything you can. I've seen what wonderful things you've done for other poor unfortunates here today.
Well, that's true, and we never like to send a pathetic figure like you away empty-handed. So here is this lovely ballpoint pen, handsomely inscribed with the name of one of the largest banks in Fitchburg, Massachusetts. You'll enjoy it.
Gee, I got to make a 6,000-mile voyage in a ferry boat, and this is the best you can do for me?
Yes, and we were delighted to be of assistance in your hour of need. Now, back over to Ray at our main anchor desk. Ray?
Say, I've got a tip for budget-minded housewives from the makers of Einbinder flypaper. Ladies, we know how the recession has forced you to stop buying many luxury items you once provided for your family. But don't make the common mistake of eliminating flypaper from your shopping list. In the long run, you can only lose money by letting insects eat your pastry goods before you can feed them to your family. So look upon flypaper as what it really is: your insurance against further economic loss. And be sure to ask for genuine Einbinder, the flypaper you've gradually grown to trust over the course of 3 generations.
Now, another chapter in the endless story of intrigue unfolding among the socially prominent families of Garish Summit. There, in stately splendor, far removed from the squalid village below, they fight their petty battles over power and money. As this week's action begins, Agatha is gazing out the parlor window at the first snowfall of the season. Suddenly, she turns to her weak, spineless son, Rodney, and speaks.
Is today the 23rd or 24th of October, Rodney?
I'm delighted you asked, Mother. I've been wanting to show you this 3-function ballpoint pen I bought in the village today. See, it shows the date in this little window on the side, and then when you push the button, it becomes a calculator that gives you the square root of 15 and other things like that.
I don't give 2 hoops about the square root of 15. I just want to know whether this is the 23rd or 24th of October.
Now, the number in the little window says it's the 24th. Why do you ask?
Well, I was just looking at the snow out there, and I got to thinking about your fiancée, Pamela, who was thrown from her horse up on the mountain. You know, the forest rangers say they can't bring her down until the ice melts next spring.
Yes, but don't worry, Mother. I can find a lot of ways to occupy my time until Pamela gets back. They have those computer dating services now, you know.
Well, it's not your shortage of social activities that concerns me, Rodney. I wasn't even in favor of your wild fling with Pamela. After all, you do have a wife and 3 children.
Oh. Yes, Jennifer and the triplets. I hope they're all still well and happy over in the other wing of the mansion here.
Well, I don't want to alarm you, Rodney, but I haven't seen any of them in weeks. I just hope your neglect hasn't driven them to some desperate act they'll be sorry for. I often wonder where they are.
Here you go, barkeep. Make it another double.
I think you've had enough, pal. Besides, you don't look like you're over 21 to me.
No, I'm not quite 9. But I have to drink to forget. You know how it feels to be from a set of triplets who were neglected by their father because he was running around with his secretary and she got thrown from her horse up on Old Baldy and nothing could be done about it until the snow melts except to lower hot soup down to her by helicopter?
No, I don't know how that feels. You see, I'm just one of twins myself.
If that's for me... If that's for me, tell him I left an hour ago.
Hello? Royal Palm Bar and Pool Hall. No, I haven't seen a little kid with beady eyes. Is there a message for him if he comes in? Okay. If you're sure he can stand the shock of hearing about that, I'll tell him he got a call from his mummy's brand new husband.
The bartender says the kid's not there, Jennifer. We'll have to leave on our honeymoon without him.
Oh, my. I hate to do that, Slick. You said we'll be going to Brazil. I assume that means you plan to stay several days.
Longer than that, kiddo. Remember when you gave me the combination to your first husband's office safe?
Yes, I hoped you might find some of Rodney's papers in there that you could mess up to help me get revenge for all these years of neglect. Rodney hates to have his papers messed up.
Well, I found more than just papers in his safe, Jennifer. Here, look in this duffel bag.
My stars. $148 million, all in small, unmarked bills.
I figure it's money that Rodney pilfered from his mother's company over the years, a few dollars at a time, and now it's ours. So you can see why our honeymoon will be lasting for quite a while.
Yes, in fact, I can see a lot of things I never saw before, Slick. You've stolen Rodney's petty cash. And now you're running away to Brazil because you know you can't be extradited from there for grand larceny.
No, I wasn't thinking of myself, Jennifer. After all, you're the one who committed bigamy when you forgot to divorce Rodney before you married me. So now you'll have to spend the rest of your life in Brazil if you don't want to go to the slammer for a long, long time.
Well, will Pamela consider it another stroke of bad luck when she's carried down from the mountain to find that her fiancé has been robbed of $148 million? Can Jennifer hope to find happiness with a thief instead of the triplets? And what about the bartender at the Royal Palm Bar and Pool Hall? Perhaps we'll learn more next week, when we hear the airline pilot say,
Rio de Janeiro's completely socked in. I'm going to have to land on the front lawn of the police station in Philadelphia.
Well, that's next week, when we resume our story of endless intrigue on Gary Summit. And now, here's a word of vital importance from the Monongahela Metal Foundry. The annual trade-in sale is now on at your local Monongahela showroom. So if you've been wanting to replace your old dull steel ingots with new, shiny, extra shiny models, the time to act is now.
Your Monongahela representative is paying top dollar in trade for any old ingot, regardless of how corroded or banged up it is. You may never get another chance like this to put new, extra shiny ingots in every room of your home, using those old, unsightly ingots to cover most of your down payment. So rush to your Monongahela showroom now while there's still time to wheel and deal.
Now, the United States Mint, one of the nation's leading producers of fine new money, presents another dramatic story from the files of the emergency ward.
Greetings and welcome. I am Dr. Gerhard Snutton, handsome young physician who has not yet established a practice of his own. Instead, I work in the emergency ward of a big city hospital, a place where the saga of human misery unfolds 24 hours a day. Take the other evening, for example. I was utilizing a spare moment to engage in some medical research when my associate nurse Roothouse turned to me and said,
Why are you standing on top of the desk, waving that fly swatter around, Doctor?
I'm proving a long-held scientific theory of mine is correct, Nurse Roothouse. The mere sight of a fly swatter is enough to scare flies away. That means they have enough mentality to learn what can hurt them.
Well, I don't see how you can prove a thing like that in a hospital, Doctor. We're careful not to let flies in here.
Well, that's just what I finished telling you, Nurse Roothouse. There aren't any flies in here, and that's because they all saw me standing on this desk, waving my fly swatter around.
Pardon me. Is this the emergency ward of a big city hospital?
Yes, and I'm Dr. Gerhard Snutton, handsome young physician who has not yet established a practice of his own. I might also mention that the salad fork you have sticking out your ear just scraped against our woodwork as you came through the doorway.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I tried not to damage your paint, but this all ties in with my medical emergency. You see, my wife tried out a new recipe on me tonight, and I didn't like it. So she got mad and she stuck this salad fork in my ear.
Well, I'll have to prepare you for x-rays. It could be a punctured eardrum.
No, I think it was tomato aspic with a little piece of pineapple in it. But you don't have to take x-rays, Doc. I didn't swallow any of it.
I mean x-rays of your ear to see if there's been damage, Dumbbell.
Well, Doctor, I don't think his eardrum could be punctured. He seems to hear you all right.
That's because I'm a physician, and he knows he'd better pay attention when I'm speaking to him. Nurse Roothouse.
Well, I don't see how that could enter into it.
I don't expect you to understand technical relationships like that. After all, you never spent a day of your life in medical school.
Well, look, excuse me. If you people are planning to have a fight, I think I'll go get a drink of water.
All right. Just don't get any water in your ear. That could spoil the x-ray pictures.
Okay, I'll be careful. I'll be gone in a minute, too. Sorry.
Clumsy oaf. Now, Nurse Roothouse, I want you to call the x-ray department and make a reservation with the photographer on duty.
Well, I think they call them x-ray technicians, Doctor, not photographers.
Well, whoever they are. I'd prefer that young redhead who just joined the staff if she's on duty this evening.
Hey, Doc, look. When I bent over the water fountain here, I must have tilted my head to one side and the salad fork fell out.
Well, that's only a natural reaction that you shouldn't be alarmed about. It's the law of gravity. I studied it in medical school.
Gee, it's really nice to have an educated man like you around to explain things when they happen. But anyway, I seem to be cured, so what do I owe you, Doc?
Well, the x-rays would have been around $75, but since we never took those, I guess $1.50 should take care of everything.
That's about right, considering how serious my condition might have been. So here you are, and, well, thanks for everything. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, Nurse Roothouse, you've just seen another hopeless victim walk out of here in radiant good health, thanks to the wonders of medical science. So just make a brief notation in your case book: patient released, cured.
Join us again soon when the United States Mint, one of the nation's leading producers of money, will bring you another dramatic story from the files of the emergency ward.
And that's it for now. The Bob and Ray Public Radio program, developed and produced for the Radio Foundation by Larry Josephson, who prides himself on knowing an oxymoron when he sees one.
Associate producer Marjorie Van Halteren, who's running for the dictionary right now.
Stan Free provided the music, and audio engineer was Joe Lopes.
And some of our contestants were interviewed beforehand. Funding in part from the National Endowment for the Arts.
And the New York State Council on the Arts.
Now, this is Ray Goulding reminding you to write if you get work.
Bob Elliott reminding you to hang by your thumbs.
For a free picture of Bob and Ray, send a stamped, self-addressed envelope to Bob and Ray Picture, Box 5000, GPO, New York 10116. That's Bob and Ray Picture, Box 5000, GPO, New York 10116.
Thank you very much.
This program was independently produced by the Radio Foundation.